Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to our channel. Today, we're diving into the chilling world of serial killers. Get ready as we uncover the haunting tales of some of history's most notorious murderers. Number 1. Ted Bundy. Ted Bundy's charm and intelligence masked his true nature. Between 1974 and 1978, he terrorized multiple states, preying on young women with ruthless efficiency. Bundy's ability to blend into society and manipulate his victims made him exceptionally dangerous. He would often feign injuries or pose as an authority figure to gain their trust before abducting and murdering them. Despite being arrested multiple times, Bundy managed to escape custody twice, sending shockwaves through the nation. His trial was a media frenzy, where he shockingly represented himself and eventually confessed to 30 murders. However, the actual number of his victims may be much higher. Bundy was finally executed in 1989, leaving a legacy of fear and fascination. Number 2. Jeffrey Dahmer. Jeffrey Dahmer wasn't just a killer. He was a predator who committed acts of unspeakable horror in Milwaukee during the 1980s and 90s. His crimes included not only murder but also cannibalism and attempts to create human zombies. Dahmer's twisted fantasies led him to lure young men, often from marginalized communities, to his apartment. There, he drugged, assaulted, killed, and dismembered them. The discovery of Polaroids showing dismembered bodies shocked the world and led to his arrest in 1991. Dahmer was convicted of 16 murders and died in prison in 1994. Number 3. John Wayne Gacy. John Wayne Gacy, infamously known as the Killer Clown, betrayed his community's trust in the most horrific manner imaginable. Beneath his persona as a friendly clown entertainer was a sadistic murderer who targeted young boys. Gacy's chilling ability to lure his victims with promises of work or money, only to subject them to unspeakable horrors, is truly terrifying. Known to his suburban neighbors as an outgoing construction worker, Gacy also performed as a clown at birthday parties. In 1978, suspicion fell on Gacy when a 15-year-old boy last seen with him went missing. A search warrant granted police access to Gacy's home, where they discovered the remains of nearly 30 bodies buried in a 4-foot crawl space beneath his house. Gacy was convicted of 33 counts of murder, along with additional charges of rape and torture, and was executed by lethal injection in 1994. Number 4. Aileen Wuornos. Aileen Wuornos carved her own dark path, driven by a rage that targeted men she claimed had assaulted her. The sheer brutality of her murders and her lack of remorse shocked the world, making her a terrifying figure on the streets of Florida. Between 1989 and 1990, while working as a street prostitute along Florida highways, Aileen shot and robbed 7 of her male clients. She asserted that her victims had either raped or attempted to rape her, and she claimed that the killings were acts of self-defense. Aileen was sentenced to death for 6 of the murders and was executed by lethal injection on October 9, 2002, after spending over a decade on Florida's death row. Aileen Wuornos' story is depicted in the 2003 film Monster, which chronicles her life from her first murder to her execution. Number 5. Gary Ridgway. Gary Ridgway, also known as the Green River Killer, was one of America's most prolific serial killers. His ability to blend into society allowed him to target vulnerable women, mainly prostitutes and runaways, whom he strangled and disposed of in remote areas. Ridgway's calculated approach and high victim count horrified the nation. Despite being convicted of 48 murders, he confessed to 71, making him one of the deadliest killers in U.S. history. Number 6. Ed Gein. Ed Gein's crimes in the 1950s were the stuff of nightmares. Known as the Butcher of Plainfield, he robbed graves and murdered women, using their remains to create ghastly items like furniture and clothing. Gein's disturbed mind and the grotesque artifacts he crafted inspired iconic horror movies like Psycho and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Gaines's reign of terror came to an end with his arrest in 1957. Declared legally insane, he spent the rest of his life in a psychiatric institution until his death in 1984. Number 7. Richard Ramirez. Richard Ramirez, known as the Night Stalker, unleashed a wave of terror in Los Angeles during the mid-1980s. His string of home invasion killings, often accompanied by acts of rape, torture, and satanic rituals, left the city paralyzed with fear. Ramirez's random and brutal attacks targeted anyone, making him a chilling embodiment of evil. Arrested in 1985, he was convicted of 13 murders and numerous other crimes. Ramirez died from illness on death row in 2013. Number 8. Andrei Chikatilo. Andrei Chikatilo, known as the Red Ripper, horrified the Soviet Union with his brutal crimes from 1978 to 1990. He preyed on children and young women, committing acts of unspeakable violence and mutilation. Chikatilo's arrest in 1990 revealed a pattern of sexual assault, murder, and mutilation of at least 52 victims. His execution in 1994 brought some closure to his victims' families, but his legacy of horror remains. Number 9. H. H. Holmes. H. H. Holmes, America's first serial killer, operated his infamous murder castle during the 1893 World's Fair in Chicago. The building was a sinister labyrinth designed to trap and kill unsuspecting victims. It featured hidden passages, trapdoors, and gas chambers where he tortured and murdered countless people. Holmes lured women to their deaths, often by getting engaged to them and then killing them after gaining control of their life savings. He also made his employees take out life insurance policies with him as the beneficiary. This allowed him to collect money upon their deaths, which were usually a result of him murdering them. His exact number of victims remains unknown, but his calculated methods and lack of empathy make him a haunting figure in history. Number 10. Pedro Alonso Lopez. Pedro Alonso Lopez, known as the Monster of the Andes, terrorized South America from 1969 to 1980. He targeted young girls, confessing to over 110 murders and leading police to the graves of 53 victims, although it is believed he is responsible for the deaths of up to 350 young girls. Despite his heinous crimes, Lopez was released from an Ecuadorian prison after 14 years for good behavior, and later from a Colombian psychiatric hospital in 1998. His current whereabouts are unknown, and he remains at large. And there you have it, folks, 10 of the most disturbing serial killers in history. If you found this video informative, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more chilling content.